All right, all right. We're going to get started. So I just want to say welcome to everyone. We're going to really go over really quick the content for quick media coverage, what it's all about, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A at the end. So I would like you to keep your camera off and sound off until the end. That way we can kind of just get through the content really, really fast. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is open up the presentation. There we go. Hey. All right. So I'm going to keep an eye because I have to keep the eye open to admit people in. There we go. So you see Luana here and different things like that. Okay. So that's the thing. I've got to keep that open. So, hey guys, it's me. It's Pam Perry. So real quick, here we go with these opening things up. Quick media coverage. What is it? Why you need it? And how to get it. That's what we're talking about today. So first of all, who am I? Who's this chick? What is this chick with this newspaper dress on, right? Promoter from way back. It's called the Pam method, the promoter, the amplifier, and the marketing. Marketing is what I love, promoting, amplifying, PAM. It's the Pam method. Backstory, I have been in PR and marketing and journalism and public relations for about 30 years. Even in high school, I was on the school newspaper. I was the advertising director at my college. I worked at the radio station. I've worked as a producer. I worked at the Detroit Free Press. I mean, all things media, right? Promoting, amplifying, marketing. The picture of me over to the left, I guess you're right, maybe, is one of the awards that I won from the National Association of Women Business Owners for being in business for a long time and being successful at it. And success really means for my clients, for you. My rolling out said that I help authors and entrepreneurs how to win online and in business. My tagline happens to be Pam Perry will help you shine online like a superstar. One of the things that PR does for you is that it says things for you that you shouldn't really say about yourself. We do have to be a little bit humble, right? So it's really vetting it. It's giving it a third party endorsement. So Powerhouse Maven is what Connected Woman Magazine said I was, Powerhouse Media Maven. That was a couple of years ago, honoring Powerhouse Women. So I was really glad about that. And that's all I'm going to say about who this chick from Detroit, Motown. That's my place. That's where I'm from. Love Dinah Ross. Love all things bling. And yeah, that's my story. So yes, get a little tricky. So where have my clients been featured over the 20 plus years, right? So I've worked at some PR agencies. I've worked at some different ad agencies. I worked in nonprofit. I was the director of public relations for the Salvation Army before I started my business. So I had roughly about 10 or 15 years of PR advertising experience before I embarked on my company in 2000, in the year 2000, in the new millennium. So my clients working with Ford and McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and Salvation Army, got them on Oprah, our Detroit chapter region. The thing is that just about all media I've had my clients on, from Fox, NBC, CBN, MSNBC, NBC, NPR, New York Times, Nightline, ABC, USA Today. I've actually been in USA Today myself, quoted. That was kind of strange. The New York Times. And then, of course, clients like Dr. Geneva, which her party is this evening, missing it right now, her birthday party, but she's been obviously a cover of Speakers Magazine a couple of times, which I published, and she's been on Local 4 News, Fox Detroit, ABC, Channel 7, PBS, Detroit Free Press, obviously, that's where I used to work, Cranes, and the like. But my favorite part of what I do is really Black media. I love Black media. I just talked with the Afro today. Ebony Magazine, Black Enterprise Essence. My clients have been in there. America Black Journal, which is a PBS show. The Chavis Chronicles, which is a PBS show, Dr. Ben Chavis. And then, of course, I have been loving the newspapers, right? Black press. NMPA, Speakers Magazine is a part of that, which is the National Newspapers Publishers Association, 130 members strong, 130 members strong, newspapers around the country. And they've been around for a long time. And the number occurring for them, for them is 47 million that they reach per month. And, you know, Ebony, Essence, Black Enterprise magazines are different, but newspapers are still strong, even though people think like newspapers, like, hey, they're not around. They are still strong. And I really enjoy working with them. They are some of my clients are still, you know, in those publications. Matter of fact, it's Kim. Matter of fact, Rodney Burris was in the Afro, and he was on the front page of the Afro, which really led him to being positioned as an authority in business, because the headline read that he was a leadership experience, this and that. And anyway, big leader, big picture, big long story, probably 1,000 words. And he actually sent that around to potential clients. He ended up getting, he told me this weekend, a contract for 5 years for like 300,000 doing leadership training. And that was in his area. The Afro is, you know, in the DMV area, is one of the premier papers. It's been around 130 years. That's why I love the Black press. And we tell our own stories. They really give us more of a narrative of the things that we need to say. So anyway, so that's one of the things. Want to say that. Shout out to NMPA and all of those newspapers as well. So Michigan Chronicle is part of the NMPA. So it's a lot of different newspapers. Just about every major city has a Black newspaper. So, whoops, here we go. Going back here. Typical steps. I think that's it. Yeah. Typical steps of getting media publicity. So you see all of the CNN and all of that, and you know, everybody wants to be on television. That's the first thing, right? They want to be on television. They want to be on public radio. They want to be on CNN. Of course, the Holy Grail before was like, I want to be on Oprah. Well, you know, we still can get on Oprah, but it's different ways she's doing things. So the typical steps, you know, as a publicist trained for, you know, my career, the majority of my career, these are the basic steps in 3 steps. It's really simple, but it's not easy. First part is having an inspiring hook, a media hook, media appeal. What that requires is knowing the media, right? So you're having an inspiring story, a hook, an angle that you are developing. It's like you're developing the story. The second, very simple, is leveraging your digital platforms. This has changed from when I first started back in 2000, because today everything is run by what? Google. So if we could put in the chat over here, see some folks over in chat. Hello, Josiah. Hey, Priscilla. Oh, your story ran today. It ran today, and we'll get to that in the CEO Weekly. How many people have had any media, like traditional media, that radio, TV, or print? Put a 1 in the chat if you've had like traditional media, radio, TV, and print, where it's like a newspaper, or you've had a radio station, do an interview, that kind of thing. 1. So Kim Davis has had 1. Josiah, you've had 1. Yes, I know you have, Josiah, because you've been part of quick media coverage. Yes. And it's really, really important. And it gives you that boost of confidence that positions you, and you can tell other people, you can share with other people. Matter of fact, they all use this. It's like, I've been seen in the Wall Street Journal, or I have been seen on Fox, ABC, and it really does lend to your credibility. But before even that, we also Google check, right? We want to be Googleicious. So we want to leverage those digital platforms for SEO, search engine optimization, by creating consistent content that's relevant, that's timely, And because when producers and editors, when they're looking for subject matter experts or people to be on their shows or people to write about, they're looking for you online. So that's more important too. So yes, you've been on maybe ABC or you've been on certain, radio shows or television shows. It's going to show up in Google, and that content needs to be in alignment with what you speak about. Don't just be posting TikToks dancing, even though, I do dance on TikTok, but you want to make sure that your content is relevant to what you speak. And then the third step of really scoring media is, what do you think that is? Pitching. The pitch, right? We got these pitches, right? So, we got the Shark Tank where they're pitching, right? They're pitching in front of people. Well, you're pitching like the media the same way. You're pulling it all together. You're going to practice. You're going to target the producers, the reporters, the editors. You're going to target them. I have media lists of thousands and thousands of media. Thousands. It's called Cision. It costs about $24,000 a year to get this, to get the Cision, to get their emails, to get their phone numbers. And you pitch them, and you want to make sure that it pitches the same audience that you want to reach. So it doesn't make sense to pitch, I don't know, something that's like Vogue, right? Vogue magazine, and you're not into fashion, or to pitch Music Observer or the Music Daily or People magazine, and you're not in entertainment. So you want to make sure that your pitch is always going to match your audience. Okay, so it's just 3 steps. Create a hook, which is all by itself, knowing your messaging, knowing your talking points, knowing what the media wants, which knows like the news cycles and things like that. Leveraging, making sure that you're cranking out content, where you're doing videos, where you're doing blogs, where you're writing articles, where you are really pulling out all the stops to show your expertise. You're creating books. You're creating ebooks. You are creating courses. You are creating content because you are a content creator. You have expertise. You're an author, so you're an authority. So you're pulling all this together to pitch, to really share that with the reporter, the producer, or the editor. Knowing who to pitch at the right time is so critical to that. The picture there that you see to the side, the little meme that's going, that is one of my favorite. That's Issa Rae. And Issa Rae was a YouTube sensation. So she leveraged, hey, there's David Walker. She leveraged her YouTube channel. She was, before she was the awkward Black girl, it was the awkward Black girl, and then she had the other show. I can't remember what it was, but I was watching her way back when she was just on YouTube, and that's all she was doing. And then she had the other show that was an HBO sensation, and then she was into movies, and then all of a sudden it's surreal for her, right? She's on the red carpet and people are like, oh, Issa Rae. But people don't realize that Issa Rae was on YouTube really leveraging her digital platform for a long, long time. Smart lady, smart lady. So who gets picked up? Who gets picked up? All right, we got all these things. So remember, I told you Issa Rae was out there. So who gets picked up? What does the media love? Besides celebrity, they want unusual experiences. They want a point of view that's different. They want some kind of transformational story that you're going to share. They want someone that has a personal style that they can Google and they can see your brand, because your brand rises up, page 1 of Google. Those are the things that matter. And they want some quirky, they want some entertainment. That's why people like Lizzo and things like that. They have talent, but they also are a little bit different, right? Lizzo is a little bit different than, say, the typical entertainer, right? Because of her size, right? And she's, really talks about that openly and that kind of thing. So we want to make sure, like, yeah, it gets picked up. And it doesn't matter what you do, because they're going to check all these other things. They're going to check all these other things. All right, as soon as we get to it. Oprah's shaking her head like, yep, that's right. They're going to check these other things. Credibility markers, because they want to make sure national media as well as local media and even the Black press as well, they're going to check out your education, your background. They're going to check out whether you have certifications, whether you have licenses and things like that. They're going to check it. They're going to check the resume. They're going to check your SEO. They're going to check your search engine optimization. They're going to check your online presence to make sure it's in alignment. Remember, things don't leave Google. They only get pushed down. That's why reputation management is important. Previous media, they're going to check to see, well, where have they been? What other shows have they been on? Before you get on Good Morning America, they're going to know, have you been on your local ABC affiliate? So those are the kind of things they're going to look at. They're going to look at your YouTube channel. If you're a speaker, they're going to check to see what your YouTube channel is like. They're going to try and hear what you're going to say. Awards, which is a whole nother strategy in itself in terms of PR and getting really quick media coverage. You need to nominate yourself for awards. You need to have yourself nominated for awards. You need to know about what awards there are available. Stevie Awards, like I just showed you, the Novel Award that I'm on, National Association of National Association of Women Business Owners. And then there are obviously NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, they have awards. So awards are really a good part of a credibility marker, as well as books. I talked about that as well. Having that as a author behind your name gives you credibility, because the word author and authority are right, some of the same. And then also too, the main thing that the media is going to check before they book you is whether you have results about what you do. Where are your receipts, right? The kids say, where are your receipts? What is your client's base and what it has? The picture here, my client, Dennis Kimbrough, obviously has all of this. He has the education, the background. He has an online presence. He's just recently, since we've been working with him, he's just upgraded his online presence. He has media. He's been in NBC, Essence, Success Magazine, Black Enterprise, CNN, Ebony, more. We could put more logos down there, but didn't. And so with that, it's easy to pitch a Dennis Kimbrough to a publication, because they can see that he's been in Essence, he's been in Black Enterprise, he's been on CNN, but he didn't start there. He did not start there. And he's been doing this for a while. I've been doing what I've been doing for a long time, and he's a little bit older than me. So he's been doing this for a while. So you want to make sure that you know that what they're looking for, and that you have the bandwidth of what it is that they're looking for. So basically you need time. You need time for it to bake. You need time to pitch, because I'm telling you, when you're pitching as a publicist, you can pitch somebody once, and I know these people. A lot of them I know, but they're busy. We're all busy. You can pitch them once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, right? You're pitching these folks a lot, right? You're pitching them. And you want to make sure that that you are going to have the time, have the bandwidth for that. Money. Typical PR firms, if you're working on a retainer, because remember, I worked with a PR firm. I've worked for agencies, PR agencies that had clients, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Ford Motor Company, yada, yada, yada. Typical retainers in most PR firms are between $5,000 to $10,000 a month. And that was, I have worked for myself for about 20 years. So that was back then. So it's probably double now, but there are no guarantees. There are no guarantees. They don't guarantee that you're going to get media just because you pay those retainers. So it takes time to pitch, time to find the media, time to research the media, research what reporter, what producer, what their beats are, what they want, all of that, and the money to pay a publicist, a retainer. You know, roughly, if you're looking at like a boutique firm, roughly about $3,500 a month. And then it could go up to 10, depending on the market. In New York, it may be 20,000 a month, because obviously New York is a major market. It takes contacts rather. Obviously you do need content, but it takes contacts. So you need to know, who do you send your materials to? Who do you send your pitch to? You can have Cision, which is $24,000 a year, and that's like a big, large database, and blah, blah, blah. It's what PR agencies use. Then you also need to have journalism skills, because you need to know what to say, besides saying it, like who to say it to, but you need to know what the angles are, what the hook is, what the pitch is, what the subject line is. That's a whole skill in itself. That's a whole webinar by itself. And you also need to be a brand with major credibility markers. And we went over those markers. You do need to have those markers. One of the main things you need to really have is to have a good social media presence. So when I say social media presence, Google your name, put your name on Google Alert, right? Put your name on Google Alert. It's like, okay, so what is it that people see when they Google my name? It's not what you say, it's what they see. So they're going to Google you. And if you did not put that information up and somebody else did, and it's on page 1, they're going to go with the page 1. They're not digging down for page 2 or 3, 4 or 5. Okay. So the solution is, if, a lot of time, a lot of money, got to know the right people, got to know how to write the press release. And you also really do need to have these credibility markers, right? You need to have a lot of them. Not all of them, but at least some of them, if you don't have a book yet or whatever. So who is this for? Quick media coverage is for authors, speakers. Subject is spelled wrong. Sorry about that. Yep. So CBIC matters. CBIC matters. Subject matter experts. Thank you. I'll get that fixed later. And CEOs. So SMEs is really what we call them. Subject matter experts. Very rarely do I really type it out. I really put in SMEs. So SMEs are really those that have an area of expertise that the media can call on and pull. And those are really like the subject matter experts or SMEs. So thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, Juanita. So the quick media coverage is really like the new PR. PR 1.0 was when I was really working in a PR firm. We would have our press releases. We would email them individually to folks and follow up with a phone call. Who answers the phone now? PR 2.0 is putting it out on the wire and making sure that it went into the newsrooms. PR 3.0, which is where we are now, is a whole nother ball game, right? You can even say Facebook is part of that because it's about SEO, search engine optimization, AP News. It's about search engine optimization, all of these different things. Being on Google News is really important. It wasn't around before, but now there's PR 1.0, PR 2.0, PR 3.0. And quick media coverage is that now. It is amazing to me. That's why I'm still in it. That's why I still love it, right? Because it's always changing, always changing. So I'm getting a little tricky here. I'm gonna try and go to this blue link up here. So quick media coverage is guaranteed PR with our media partners. And we have a lot. And actually, I just got a new partner today. So because I've been around for so long, and people trust me, that's good. It's a good thing because I have a brand. They know that I'm not pushing out junk. We have media partners. So some of our media partners, immediately people get featured in New York Business Now, Hustle Weekly, US Times. And why that matters is because of SEO. It's like, well, I don't get the US Times at home, or, it doesn't matter. When people Google, they're going to find you. And it's based on keywords. So that's where the PR 3.0 comes, and what they call domain authority. Without getting techie, domain authority means that how a domain is ranked. Does it have a high domain authority? If it has a high domain authority, that means people will find it on page 1. If it has a low domain authority, that means they won't. So these are some of our media partners. I'm gonna try and go to this so you can kind of see here. Good. So we're going to, one of them is the US Times. And like I said, today is, it's running slow, is Dr. Geneva, which is one of our clients. She's speaking for AARP, and she just recently won an award at Wayne State. She's been appointed things with the governor, and my computer is running slow. But this right here is the US Times where she was in here. So the US Times, if you go to that, and also to Josiah, I believe you were in there as well, in the US Times, but it's not popping up. It's not populating. Ugh. I don't know whether it's because I'm on Zoom or what. No, I don't want Skype. So anyway, so that's, I said, I knew that would be kind of tricky. Let me try it one more time. You can see the URL, but I want you all to see how it populates. All right, be slow. So anyway, these are the 7 of our media partners. I guess you say this is level 1. Then we have our other media partners. That is like our level 2. A lot of them are based on DA, domain authority. So Coin Week, and we also have the CEO, the New York Weekly, the CEO Weekly, the US Reporter, ERU Web. When you have something that is a high domain authority, that means it has more traffic. So the higher the domain, just basic Google terms, I guess you would say, the more things that are connected to a domain, meaning the amount of traffic that it receives, the amount of backlinks, how often it's updated, how many people go to it as often. Like a New York Times is a high domain authority, right? Because it's been around for a long time. So Google weights all these different things on the domain. So the domains are important. First level may be the 7 that I talked about. Then the second level would be these. These are a little bit older. They have more content. They are the ones that really have a lot of things. Oh, this one came out. So the New York Weekly, my client was on this one as well. This is Egypt Sherrod. So she was on the New York Weekly. This is one of our partners. So basically it's written by a reporter. Wife, mother, real estate broker, remodelista, TV star, Egypt Sherrod shows women around the world. They can have it all, right? And that's one of the ones, but you can see all the other stories to the side, the world technology, but that's just one of our partners, right? There is Texas Today and all that. So quick media coverage, why is it different, right? So we have quick media coverage, we have those articles there. We have these articles, like, oh, okay, great. So you've got all these articles, Pam. That's what does that do? So these are just 2 examples. Some of our other partners are Newsbreak, and the other one is Authority Magazine. These are 2 of our clients, Brooke and Deidre. So Deidre was in Newsbreak, and from this, Deidre won. Speaking of awards, another credibility marker. They found her, they Googled her, they've been watching her, they saw her interviews, all the things that are going on with her, and she won the World Growth Forum Person of the Year. And her book is one of the ones why she got it. It's talking about African-American history and their image, the VIP, their values, their image, and also their purpose. So she talks a lot about that. So she won that. That's on her LinkedIn. You can kind of see that. The other person over there, you see Brooke Daniels. Let me see if I can pull Brooke's up. Brooke is an inspirational women leaders of tech. And she has, from her articles and working with us doing the quick media coverage, she did the Techstars speech. She did the Techstars, she's part of that speaking group. Black Women Talk Tech was another one that she did. Just this weekend, she did Sean's leadership experience tour as well. So she's in corporate America, and she's really moving out into other areas. There she is, it's Brooke there. And so Authority Magazine has, and all of these are a high domain authority, meaning that there are millions of new people looking at that, millions of eyeballs on there. So not only was there an article written on her, but also too was a video as well. So her video was there as well in Authority Magazine. And this is like one of the large, well, domain authority. So Authority Magazine, obviously, you know, they have to have authority. So that's one of the ones there. So it's a good look for her that has leveraged her other speaking opportunities for the pivot that she's making. The PAM method is really promoting, amplifying, and marketing the message for those people that are part of QMC, quick media coverage. That's really the whole point of it. You can have the media, but you need someone to also promote it and amplify and market it for you. Obviously, you're going to share it on your own, because when everybody is a part of quick media coverage, I tell them how to leverage it, right? So this is 2, 3, 4. Well, I won't go over all of them, but this gentleman here, this is Tommy Jones. He was in one of our quick media coverage, again, part of the partners, it was Real Estate Today. And because of this, he actually has gotten a speaking gig. He's going to be speaking at the Real Estate Business Expo. And really excited about that. That's Tommy, how he is taking, it's really like one of his first media hits that he actually got too, but because it was targeted, that's why it's really important. And it got him into a place where he's speaking at the Real Estate Business Expo, right? So those are one of the things too. This is a whole article on Tommy. Again, they write the story. What we do is we position them and we make sure that their messaging is correct and right. I saw that he's on the side here with Jack Ma. That's kind of cool. From Alibaba. Same thing with, oops, go back here. Same thing with Anthony Kellum. He's also speaking at the Real Estate Business Expo as well. And then you see Priscilla. Hey, Priscilla. Priscilla was there in an email that we send out. We send out an email where we highlight the people who've been in quick media coverage, and it goes out to 5,000 people. And that's actually how Anthony got his speaking gig. It went out. Lyric saw it. After Lyric saw it, he called me on the phone. He said, hey, I'd like to book Anthony to speak. And because he saw Anthony being featured in our newsletter, our Roundup newsletter. And that's it. The other ones here, you see Josiah is there. You see Priscilla there, Karen Taylor Bass. I interviewed Tracy, I think tomorrow. Letitia Nicole is going to be speaking at Tam's event. And Tam, our Luck, there she is. She was in Hustle Weekly, and she has an event next month. Tam is one of those people that has leveraged a lot of her media. So when we first started working together, there was not a lot written on her or about her, a lot about what she said about herself, but not what other people said about her. And that's why it's important to really do PR. And so Letitia Nicole is speaking at Tam's event, as well as Talisha as well. So it's a good full circle method of what I call the PAM method: promoting, amplifying, and marketing those that are in the circle. So the quick media coverage, once you get it, you leverage it. You leverage your PR. You, of course, you're going to say as seen on, you're going to make sure that you are leveraging it in terms of, and there's 50 ways to leverage it, but one of the main things to leverage it is to send it to your prospects and say, hey, I was recently featured on Yahoo Finance. I was recently featured on Bazinga. I was featured in AP. So you can send those links to people instead of you sending them your website, right? Your website is like what you say. So you want to show the stories and the other things where you've been picked up. That's really, really key. So how do you get out there? Basically, people say, I want to get out there. I want to get out there. All you need is media coverage. Media coverage. I mean, everybody's posting on Facebook. Everybody's doing the whole Twitter thing. I love social media. Let me let somebody admit over here. I love social media, and there's nothing wrong with social media. Social media is an amplifier, but it is nothing like real media. Stories written about you, consistent messaging out, shared via articles, shared via press releases, because the press releases get picked up by the media. So you need a steady stream of word of mouth to just really be your mouse, right, on your computer. Obviously, one of the things that we make sure that our clients are involved in, especially if they're speakers, is Speakers Magazine. And Brian Oles, he always talks about it as one of the pictures that is flashing there. He has his board when he was on the cover, and he says that it's just like one of those credibility markers where people's like, hey, I've seen you before. It's just like, when people would just like, I've seen you before. Those are really, really cool to do. And then obviously in the magazine as well. The magazine, Speakers Magazine, is a physical magazine. It's a physical magazine as well as online. And online embedded are videos. The videos could be the interview that I do with you to pull out your story, or it could be your speaker reel. But the magazines are actually sent out to the media as well as to event planners. So when they say they're looking for speakers, it's like, who are they looking for? They're looking for, and depending on, this a whole class by itself, got to make sure that you have a bio. There's David Walker right there. You have to have a bio. And you don't want to write a whole War and Peace novel. 250 words is good. 500 if they ask for a longer one. But for the most part, it needs to be punchy. It needs to tell people what it is that you do. So that's one of the main things. So the press releases, let's see. So if you want to do your own press release, you can. We actually write the press releases for you. We know the keywords to use for them. But the link there is on my website, pamperrypr.com, if you want to do your own press releases. And press releases just to distribute them are roughly about $100. But if it's not written well, who's gonna pick it up? So you want to make sure that if it's not me, then someone is writing a press release for you that knows what they're doing. And you don't want it to be you if you don't know what you're doing. So the main thing is quick media coverage is that answer. It's that answer to, whether something takes 4 to 6 months to get a media hit, 4 to 6 weeks. But when I say quick, you can have something within a week. All right, quick media coverage where you're on a consistent basis having some media coverage, right? So what I'm doing now for until the 31st is doing a social media audit and consultation. All right, and this is so that when the media does come to you, they look at your social media and it is congruent so that you can get more and more media. Media begets media. I say that all the time. So you could go to quickmediacoverage.com, pick a package, pick a PR package. The PR packages start from $750 down to $2,800, and you could pick some in between. But basically, by the 31st, you set up a time where I'll go through all your social media and just show you how to even get the right URLs corrected, to make sure that if you need a blue check, how to get the blue checks on certain ones, how to really making sure that your message is getting seen. It's so important because I'm telling you, when the producers and the editors, when they're trying to figure out who to book, they're going to Google you. So you want to make sure that you're doing that your social media is intact. Because I can look at a lot of them and I'll spend about an hour really doing the audit and say, these are the things that you need to change. Because I've been a TV producer, won an Emmy actually, for a local TV show here. So I know what they're looking for. And if your social media isn't right, it could be like the no. And everything else could be good. And it's like, they were so close. So what happened? So that's really like the main thing that I'm sharing right now. If you have any questions, I'm gonna open it up. You can unmute yourself or ask to unmute yourself, and I'll unmute you if you have any questions about it. Here's a quick media coverage packages. Go over here. The starter package, that really right there is where most people should really start. That really gets them a page in Speakers Magazine, get them a podcast interview on Speakers. That's what hey, Christina, Anthony Kellum got him that speaking gig. If you have a book, you'll be on Amazon Influencer, which not everybody gets that. I'm on the Amazon Insider, so that's like really streaming within Amazon. And then also too, like I said, you get the Pam method, right? You get to be shared on the network, promoted and amplified and marketed there. Then there's a 3-month commitment to do that. Again, some of the sample of the media outlets that we have partnerships with, you can click and just see that, depending on what it is. If you're in Atlanta, you maybe want to be on the Atlanta Wire. If you're a business person, maybe you want to be in the Market Daily. So those are the ones there that you want to look at. And then again, the first month you get the 7. The second month you get Newsbreak. Like I said, Deidre got Newsbreak, and then she got that World Growth Forum Award as a person of the year. Really happy about that. And then also too, our new partner, forgot to mention that, is TV show, Black Authors Matter. So that's one as well. And that has a lot of connections. So the combination of new eyeballs coming and looking at your stuff is like in the thousands, right? In the thousands for each one of them. Newsbreak alone reaches 45 million. Vocal, again, is another high domain authority news site as well. I talk about that a lot, a domain authority, because you want to make sure that you're being found in Google. Again, the 1,200 if you just want to do 1 month. But I always say that you probably need to do PR on a regular basis in order for, you never know. There's so many ways where you can always do a press release at least once a month. And that keeps you relevant and timely in front of producers that are looking for things. The 1,900, again, that's that includes the press release where you get featured on like the other high domain authority sites as well. And then the big one where you actually are in, you get everything, plus you also get a one sheet speaker one sheet that you can use to pitch on podcasts, which is a whole nother phase of the business that I'm working on later. But that is really like the main thing. So are there any questions at anything? All right, do I have to unmute, mute all or unmute all? So let's see. Ask all to unmute. Okay, so there you go. If you have questions, you couldn't talk because I muted everybody. So that is my webinar. I promise I would leave some time for Q&A. I love talking about PR, so ask me anything. I'm here for it.
Can you hear me, Pam?
Yeah,
It's Priscilla.
Yeah.
Okay, I skipped right over that first level. So what do I need to do now to be in your speakers magazine?
So go to speakersmagazine.com, speakersmagazine.com, and there's a button right there to get featured, and you could just see that.
Okay, because I skipped right over that and went up higher.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very pleased with all that you're doing. You are really working it.
Good. You did the CEO Weekly today. So I was like really, really excited about it. I was like, oh, it came out today. Yeah, it takes a little while. And the whole part of it is you did the first level, but when you answer the questions, we actually take those questions and give it to the writer. And then I sit with the writer because I know you and I talk with you. So everybody that I work with, I have to know.
It is different like that.
Okay. Can someone?
I tell you, if you ever run into someone who's
all right, here's someone talking.
Those people with foster care, I would love to be introduced to them because, for instance, back in 2016, California was
Richard,
and so
can you mute?
Under Jerry Brown, he said, "Look, we're going to give someone."
Okay, Richard couldn't hear me. He's talking. But yeah, it was not too many men on. So I was thinking like, okay, it's not Donald, so it must be Richard. But yeah, that is one of the main things that you did the first level, and then we take that and we move it to the next and send it to the next writer, The thing about it, for anyone who's doing PR, it's kind of like with speaking. And I heard my coach said this too. He says, well, how do you make sure that and my coach said this, he asked this to Tony Brown. He says, you know, Mr. Brown, Tony Brown says, how do you you know, you talk with no notes and you have all this going on. Well, how do you do it? And Tony says, you got to have something to say. So with your PR, you just need to have a hook. You need to have a story. We need to have your messaging. We need to flush it out. We need to have it newsworthy in order for you to get news, right? So that's one of the key things of what a publicist can do for you when they're working with you to get your quick media coverage. We need to pull out those hooks or those angles in order for it to be an interesting story. Lawana, I see your hand up. Good, Priscilla. Lawana, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you so much, Pam. This was great. The question I have is a timing question. So when you are about to launch a new product and or service, do you recommend that the PR happen like a week or 2 weeks prior to that launch, or once it's launched in order to get the maximum impact?
So it depends. It's a good question. Is it a book or is it a product?
No, I'm actually getting ready to venture independent on my with my own TV show. And so I was thinking building up anticipation, but then I thought, do I want to do that, or do I want to wait until it's out and then say, you know, this is what's happening?
Well, everything is so noisy, right? So you want to build anticipation. You want to build an email list. So at the very least, you want to build an email list so that people can, once you do launch it, you can send them an email and say, hey, it's here, right? So you want to start as soon as you know, or you have a lot of the ideas, because you want to test it as you go. I never say wait And then you're trying to play catch up. So I'll give you an example with the book industry.
Mhm.
Most books are promoted a year before they're out, especially traditional. So a lot of times a book, if you're going with a Random House or something like that, and I've worked with TD Jakes or whatever, we're working on the book a year out, because a lot of times magazines are 3 or 4 months out. A lot of the media, you have to line it up, and they really appreciate the fact that they're getting a heads up early because they know you're prepared. It's like, wow, they are planning, they're forward thinking. So say for instance, you make a media list of the top 10 media that you want, and say they're national or even like regional. You still need some local media to lead up to your regional that will lead up to your national. So you want to get some local that will be like a snowball effect, then get your regional, and then get your national. So by the time your TV show launches, you're not trying to get national coverage, because you can now snowball what you've gotten to get to the national. But if you just wait, then you've got to do all the other things like 6 months before you can get a larger media hit. So the earlier you start, the answer is the earlier you start, the better. At the very least, start to get people interested, to let you know, and that's where the messaging comes in. I know it's like, oh my God, well, what am I going to say? So don't be like a person that has a book and say, hey, here's my book, buy it. Here's my book, buy it. You've got to be really creative with your content. And that's why I said the first part of it, we were talking about content strategies, making sure that it's relevant for people to say, hey, I want to learn more. And they are signed up on your email list, and you keep in contact with them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions here? There's Egypt there. Geneva's never did come up. Okay, that's all right. The also too, I'm looking at some of you guys' names. Karita, I see you there. If you could Google your name, I see you, Shannon, as well. Google your name and see what comes up. You want to make sure that media comes up and not just your social media. You want to make sure there's some stories that come up. You want to make sure that, say for instance, Priscilla had a story today that ran in CEO weekly. You want to make sure that maybe you put that right now, Priscilla, this coming week, you want to put it on your email signature so that people will click it. You know, you probably send in at least 30 emails a day. So you want to just say, hey, my latest story in CEO Weekly, you know, that kind of thing. So just wanted to make sure that when you Google your name, that stories come up besides just your website, besides just your social media, but there's some actual stories about what you've done. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. I was curious, I joined later than I wanted to. Will there be a replay sent out?
I am recording. Let me double check.
I would love to hear it all. I
Making
was like,
sure
oh my gosh.
I am recording. Yes,
Okay,
so
great.
we'll send it out. I was like, did I hit? I know when I came on, I hit pause. It's like sometimes I forget to unpause it, but yes, it will be. I'll send out a recording as well. You didn't miss anything, depending on what it is. The first part of it, I just talked about my background, and I've been around like forever. I'm old as dirt, so you know, it was just basically talking about some of the things that I've done earlier. But the meat of it was towards the part of really going through the media that our media partners. And also too, we have a new media partner as well. I talked about the Black authors matter, but we have a new one as well that is asking me for guests for podcasts. So Priscilla, you're going to be a part of that. They're asking for experts for panels for that. And that was part of a new media partner that we have. This is by Zoom, and it's in Dallas. They want people in Dallas. So anyway, so they were asking this, do you have any clients that you'd like to recommend? So again, part of it is just really, because I've been doing this for so long, I love really sharing with the media the fabulous work that my clients do. All of them are light bearers. You know, all of them are shining the light. All of them have messages that want to make a difference. So, and you could keep doing what you're doing on social media, but you want to make sure that your stories are being told by other people as well. It really is a credibility marker. It's one of those markers that you need in order to check off on a list as well. And resharing your content often.
So Pam, oh,
Yes,
sorry about that. How you doing this evening?
good.
Good. This is Donald Dowridge. As you know, first of all, I want to say congratulations on your anniversary, and I've been following you, as you mentioned, on social media. You also just said, you're welcome. You also just said that you were old as dirt. Well, if you're old as dirt, I must be way back in dinosaur land, because of the fact that I don't know if you caught some of my media where I do portray Frederick Douglass. I am known as the 21st century Frederick Douglass. I am excited. I know that I do have an interview coming up. I believe it's in May. I'm excited about that for the Speakers Magazine. And a lot of the things that you did mention about media presence, I was just sitting here shaking my head, and I was kind of like just checking off everything that you mentioned. Because of the fact that, yes, I am on all the social media platforms. I've written for different newspapers. As a matter of fact, I have another article that is due by the end of the week. Podcasts, I've done a few of those. I'm basically in every arena that you mentioned. So I am up to par on that. But I would like to venture more, and into that avenue, if you will. And that's one reason why I'm looking to join forces with you and hopefully broaden the scope, if you will. So I just wanted to say thank you for accepting me, and I look forward to doing some more work with you in hopes that the future will be brighter before December the 31st, 2023.
All right. Well, one of the things too, Donald, is that you have a good foundation, and it's a wash, rinse, and repeat of your story. Media begets media. So the more that you get, the more you will get. And so it is one of those things where it does build. I'll give you an example of someone who has been doing something a long time. He's not as old as we are, right? But Delatora McNeil,
yes,
he's a great speaker, been at the game. Probably when I met him, he was probably 10 years into it. So he'd probably been doing this about 25, 30 years. And speaking at all the places, certified licenses, all the things. And just recently, within the last year or so, he was on the cover of the magazine 2020 or 20, I can't remember. But anyway, he was the cover of the magazine for Speakers Magazine. And really a lot of things started shifting, but they don't happen right away. He's meeting the right people. He's been in the game. He's doing the things. He's writing the stories. He's doing the content. He's got the speakers reel. He's coaching. He just got, a lot of people saw that where he's just been like a regular guest on like the Today Show. Often, I think he's been on like 2 or 3 times, but he was doing a lot local. He was on TBN. So even though it's almost like you're only as good as your last media hit. So even when he was on TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network, you would have thought, oh my God, that was it. So he should have went straight to Good Morning America Today Show. No, we're talking about like 10 years later. So I'm not saying that it has to take 10 years, but it does take time. I do want to tell people that the larger ones do take time, but you need to start with some media right away in order to build the digital footprint that they're looking for. They're looking.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
If I could add, not to take too much time, I've been at this for 31 years, believe it or not. I retired from my job at the post office as the first Black manager here in Tampa. And, I was trained by Les Brown and, other mentors along the route. And I will be honest with you, I heard something you said about the love of doing what you do. And I am in the same area. I'm 66. Every day I wake up like I'm 17.
Yep.
And I've had the opportunity to do a lot of things in this 31 years, audition with the Temptations, sing in my own group, write stories. So the list goes on and on and on until the break of dawn. However, you know, I know there's more out there, and I'm still hungry, as Les Brown would say. You mentioned earlier about Mr. Dennis Kimbrough.
Mhm.
And when I first got the book, I got into this. I got to let you know that Mr. Dennis Kimbrough and his book, I forget the name of it. I was looking for it on my shelf. No, not that one. This was back in the 90s. And it was one of the first books that I got my hands on in reference to, I think it was African American, where even every day there's something new, a motivational page in the book. And I'll let you know, especially the one that comes to mind, Who We Are. That really changed my life. It's just a whole page of all the possibilities we as African Americans have within our scope. We just have to go get it. And Pam, I'm gonna let you know, as a young man as I mean, that just took me over the top. There wasn't a mountain I couldn't climb. And I will say this.
I would say, Donald, do this. Let him know it's my client. Let him know on Instagram, send him that message. The thing about it is that sometimes we don't know how we affect people unless someone tells us. So if you could let him know, I mean, you're 66, so you're roughly almost about the same age. Let him know on Instagram. He's on Instagram pretty active, or even on LinkedIn. Let him know in the messages exactly what that was. He will be so tickled, and he will respond. He will respond. He needs to know that. He really does. You know, give people their flowers while they're alive, right? This is what I
Yes.
So well, I mean, it's good you're telling me, but tell him. Tell them. Tell Dr.
Well, I just want to leave you with this. Thank you so much for inspiring my life.
Thank you. Well, you talked about the Temptations, so you know I'm from Detroit, so Motown is like my main thing. So thank you, Donald.
You're welcome.
Josiah, I see your hand up as well, and then we're right at 8 o'clock. So I promise everyone just 1 hour. So then right after you, we're gonna end it unless anybody has any other one last quick question about quick media coverage.
Okay, I didn't really I had more of a comment, and the comment was about going to Google and seeing your name. So I just wanted to comment that I did just today. I happened to look on there and saw Black News, PR Media, and Greater Diversity. So right, and interesting. I'm actually Googling more and seeing a little bit more there. So
did Greater Diversity News pick up what we did?
I haven't read the story. I just saw it. I need to go back and look at the story, but I was surprised to see it. So
a lot of times what they do is news aggregates. They do pick up what they've seen. So when you did quick media coverage, what they're looking for is content. If your content was good, then they will go back and actually then reprint it. I guess you would say it's fair game. They'll reprint it. So yeah, so that's one of
sure. Well, thank you, and for the session tonight to really enjoyed this. So this was helpful. So
good.
Thank you.
Good. Well, guys, if there are no further questions, I'm going to end this. Again, like I said, the Fast Start bonus ends on the 31st. Go to Quick Media Coverage, pick a package, and we can do your audit and get that going to make sure that you are ready for the media when it starts coming, okay? So just go to quickmediacoverage.com. I bought that domain name and I'm happy about it. Nobody else had it, and we can get going on it, okay? So you see I got my newspaper shirt on right here. So yeah, you know, I love that. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. So with that, guys, I will talk with you guys later. Thanks everyone for coming.
Bye.
Hi,
Bye-bye.
Pam.
Thanks for coming. All right, bye-bye.
Hi, Pam.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.